Welcome to our channel, where everyday coins turn into unexpected treasures. While most quarters are worth just 25 cents, a few rare ones have sold for thousands, even tens of thousands, at auction. These aren't ancient coins or made of silver, they're modern pieces with unique features or near-perfect condition. Let's take a closer look at some of these surprising and valuable finds. Imagine holding a coin that seems like any other you've seen in your pocket or wallet, a 2022 United States quarter dollar. Its familiar shine, weight, and size make it blend into everyday life. But a closer look reveals something more. This isn't just another piece of pocket change. It features the image of Maya Angelou, one of the most respected voices in American literature and civil rights history. This coin is part of the American Women Quarters program, a series launched by the U.S. Mint in 2022 to honor American women who have made significant contributions in a wide range of fields. Maya Angelou was the first woman honored in this program. The design captures her with arms uplifted, inspired by both her literary work and her legacy as a poet, performer, and activist. It's a thoughtful tribute to a figure whose influence continues to resonate. The coin was produced in 3 U.S. Mint locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia and Denver coins were made for circulation, while the San Francisco version was intended for collectors. Most of the coins from this series entered regular circulation, used in everyday transactions. But among the many millions produced, a small number stand out, not just for their design, but for their condition, unique traits, and rare minting errors. One particular category that draws the interest of collectors is mint errors. These can include die cracks, misalignments, or other unintended variations during the minting process. On certain Maya Angelou quarters, some collectors have identified a small die crack, often near her arm or extending toward the coin's edge. While it's a minor visual difference, such errors are of great interest in numismatics because they add rarity to what is otherwise a common coin. Coins with these kinds of variations, especially those in near-perfect condition, are carefully evaluated by grading services like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company. A higher grade, such as MS-67 or MS-68, mint state, indicates that the coin has no significant flaws and retains its original mint luster. Coins that receive high grades and show recognized minting errors are often considered very collectible. The coin's value in the collector market depends on several factors, primarily rarity, condition, and demand. While the vast majority of 2022 Maya Angelou quarters are worth their face value, those few with verified errors and high-grade condition can be significantly more valuable. In certain cases, depending on how unique the error is and how well preserved the coin remains, it could be worth several $1,000s. These aren't values based on speculation, they're based on actual transactions and interest from collectors who seek out these limited examples. Some collectors focus specifically on modern era coins, and when a coin like this surfaces, especially one tied to a prominent historical figure and part of a notable mint series, it tends to gain attention. Unlike older coins where wear is expected, modern quarters like the Maya Angelou issue are judged more strictly. A coin must be nearly flawless to achieve the highest grades. Combine that with a rare minting anomaly, and its desirability increases further. That's why collectors search through bank rolls, inspect circulated change, and examine coins under magnification, always hoping to find one of these unusual examples. The Maya Angelou quarter holds cultural and historical value beyond numismatics. It's the first U.S. coin to feature a black woman. It also reflects a broader effort by the U.S. Mint to represent the full scope of American history. By honoring her on a coin, the Mint acknowledged her role as an author, educator, and civil rights activist who influenced countless people through her words and actions. Though millions of these coins were minted, it's only a small number that exhibit the kind of rarity that increases collector interest. That rarity can be defined by production issues, limited release versions, or exceptional condition. When all three come together, an early die state coin, with a minor error, preserved in mint condition, you have a piece that stands apart. Collectors don't only seek out coins because they are old or gold. Sometimes, modern coins can become just as desirable. In fact, modern era coins, when certified, often outperform older common date coins in terms of collector interest. The Maya Angelou Quarter is a strong example of how recent mint issues can attract attention, especially when backed by a compelling story and physical rarity. This particular coin, when graded by a major service and confirmed to have a distinct mint error, becomes more than just currency, it becomes a collectible. And while it's impossible to assign a universal value to every coin, coins like these have sold for thousands of dollars in the right market conditions, depending on their features. It's worth noting that value in numismatics is always tied to authenticity, grade, and market timing. A coin must be verified by a professional grading company to be considered valuable in the collector community. Raw, ungraded coins, even with visible errors, usually require formal assessment before they're traded for high prices. If you happen to come across a 2022 Maya Angelou Quarter, take a closer look. Examine the fields, the devices, and the edges. If something looks unusual, a raised line, a doubling of letters, or unusual texture, it might be more than a simple coin. And if the condition is sharp and untouched, it could be a candidate for grading. So the next time you check your spare change, think of the journey a coin like this may have taken. From the U.S. Mint, through cash registers, to the hands of collectors. Among millions of standard issues, a few coins quietly stand out, symbols of history, rarity, and quiet worth. Moving to the next special quarter, let's take a closer look at a modern issue that quietly stands out, the 2021 United States quarter dollar, featuring the historic scene known as Crossing the Delaware. At first glance, it might seem like just another quarter in circulation. But this particular design represents a significant moment in both American history and U.S. coin production. This quarter was released in April 2021 and holds a unique place in the timeline of U.S. coinage. It followed the conclusion of the America the Beautiful series, which had run for over a decade, and it arrived just before the American Women Quarters program was introduced in 2022. That makes this a one-year-only issue, an important detail for collectors looking for transitional designs or limited-run coins. On the obverse side, the coin features a familiar profile of George Washington. This isn't the modified image used in the more recent State or Parks quarters, it's a return to the original design by sculptor John Flanagan, used on quarters from 1932 through 1998. This updated version of Flanagan work includes enhanced details, such as sharper lines around Washington's hair, neckline, and the word Liberty. This blend of tradition and modern minting techniques gives the coin a clean, refined appearance. Flipping to the reverse, we find the central design, General George Washington crossing the Delaware River. The scene is based on one of the most recognized events of the Revolutionary War. On the night of December 25, 1776, Washington led a surprise attack across the icy river that helped turn the tide of the war. In this version, Washington stands tall near the bow of a boat, sword in hand, with soldiers and supplies surrounding him. The design was created by Benjamin Sowards and sculpted by Michael Gaudioso. The artwork avoids unnecessary decoration and instead focuses on the determination and leadership of Washington during a moment of great risk. This quarter was minted in large numbers. Over 838 million pieces were struck in Philadelphia, and more than 865 million came from the Denver Mint. The San Francisco Mint produced proof versions, including both clad and 99.9% silver-proof coins, intended for collectors. Because of the high mintage, most of these coins entered circulation and are still commonly found today. However, a small portion of these quarters have gained serious attention in the numismatic world. What makes them stand out isn't just the design, it's the condition, the production errors, and how rare they are in top grade. The overwhelming majority of coins from this issue have been circulated, picked up scratches, or show signs of wear. But for coins found early in bank rolls or mint sets, before they entered circulation, the condition can be nearly flawless. That's where grading comes in. Third-party grading companies like PCGS and NGC evaluate coins based on strike, luster, and surface quality. Coins that achieve grades of MS67 or MS68 are uncommon. At these levels, even small differences in the sharpness of the design or the presence of tiny marks can affect a coin's overall score and value. Beyond condition, there's also growing interest in coins with mint errors, small but verifiable irregularities that occurred during production. Some 2021 quarters have been discovered with notable die chips on Washington's face, particularly around the mouth or near the eye. Collectors sometimes refer to these as lip mole or snake-eye varieties. These are not post-mint damage but actual flaws caused by a break in the die used to strike the coin. Other types of mint errors have also been recorded. These include coins with smooth edges, meaning the reeded edge or tiny grooves were never formed properly. There are also examples of broad strikes, off-center strikes, and even coins with weak or missing design elements due to a filled die. These types of errors, especially when found in uncirculated condition, are more than just unusual, they're highly collectible. Most 2021 Crossing the Delaware Quarters are worth face value in circulated form. Even high-grade examples without errors typically sell for just a few dollars. But when you combine exceptional grade with a unique error, you enter a different category altogether. These are coins that appeal not just to casual collectors but to specialists who follow modern mint issues closely. In one notable case, a 2021 quarter with the Crossing the Delaware design was found in superb condition. It displayed a clear die chip error, known among collectors, and was submitted to PCGS for grading. The coin was returned with a mint state 68 grade, a very high result for a modern circulating quarter. Its surfaces were clean, its strike was crisp, and the error added a layer of rarity. This specific coin was later sold through a recognized numismatic auction platform. It attracted attention from modern coin collectors and error specialists alike. After competitive bidding, the final sale price reached $28,000. While sales like this are rare, they highlight the potential that modern coins can hold. It's not just about age, it's about condition, scarcity, and verified interest from the collector community. Coins like this prove that valuable finds can still come from recent years, especially when they combine top-tier preservation with unique production traits. If you come across a 2021 Crossing the Delaware Quarter, it's worth giving it a closer look. Check for any irregularities on the design, small raised areas, missing edge grooves, or faint details. If the coin looks clean and uncirculated, it may be worth setting aside. And if it has an error, consider having it authenticated by a grading service. Moving on to another unique piece from U.S. coinage history, let's now take a deeper look at the 1986 quarter dollar minted in Philadelphia, widely known among collectors as the 1986 P quarter. At first glance, this coin seems routine. It's the kind of quarter that has passed through countless hands in vending machines, pockets, and change drawers. But beneath the surface lies an example that has gone far beyond its original 25-cent face value, making its way into the upper tier of coin collecting due to a rare combination of quality and timing. In 1986, the United States Mint continued producing the Washington quarter design that had been in use since 1932. This design featured the familiar bust of George Washington on the obverse, originally created by John Flanagan. The reverse showed the heraldic eagle with spread wings perched above a bundle of arrows, flanked by olive branches. The design was simple and effective, conveying a sense of national tradition. While later decades would bring commemorative series and rotating reverse images, 1986 remained true to the original layout. These quarters were made from a copper-nickel-clad composition, with a pure copper core at the center. The result is a coin with a silvery appearance but no silver content, weighing in at 5.67 grams. The P mint mark signifies that it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. That year, the Philadelphia Mint struck over 780 million of these quarters, making the coin, in sheer quantity, one of the most common quarters of its time. Because of this high mintage, most of the 1986 P quarters were used in daily transactions and quickly showed signs of wear. For years, they were seen as typical circulation coins. However, coin collectors have learned to look beyond mintage numbers alone. Not every coin struck is identical in quality. Some are released with sharper detail, stronger strikes, or cleaner surfaces. And within this massive production run, a handful of coins emerged with exceptional features. Among them are a very small number of 1986 P quarters that remained in nearly flawless condition since the day they were minted. These coins were likely pulled from original mint rolls or sets and kept protected from handling or damage. As grading standards improved and demand grew for pristine modern coins, these high-grade examples attracted more attention. The key to their value lies in their grading. Coin grading is the process of assessing a coin's condition on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect specimen. Most 1986 quarters fall well below the mint state threshold due to the where they received in daily circulation. However, a few have achieved exceptional grades. Coins rated at MS67 or higher are considered extremely rare for this particular year. They display sharp design details, smooth fields, and a strong original luster. Even more uncommon are the coins graded MS68 and above. In these cases, only a handful are known. Such coins are so well preserved that even under magnification, their surfaces appear nearly flawless. This level of condition is rare for any clad quarter from the 1980s, when quality control at the mint was not yet optimized for collectible level finishes. Most examples, even those pulled early from rolls, develop contact marks or dullness from the fast-paced production and packaging process that in the case of the 1986 P quarter, one particular example stood out for more than just its grade. This coin had been stored in a controlled environment since its original release, preserving not only its physical condition but also its original mint luster and clean strike. Over time, collectors and dealers began to recognize this coin as something extraordinary. It was eventually submitted for certification and grading by a major third-party grading service. It received a final grade of mint state 69, placing it among the finest known for its year and type. Adding to its appeal was a minor but consistent detail in the coin's reverse design, an extremely subtle doubling in the eagle's feathers that set it apart from the average strike. While not dramatic enough to be considered a variety on its own, this doubling added an element of uniqueness. Combined with the high-grade status, it made this coin especially attractive to collectors of modern mint state quarters. The coin remained in private hands for some time before eventually being offered at public auction. Interest in top-grade modern U.S. coins has been steadily growing, particularly among collectors who focus on achieving complete registry sets of coins in the highest possible grades. When this 1986 P quarter was listed for sale, it quickly drew attention from several competitive bidders. The auction opened with strong interest and bidding rose steadily as numismatists recognized the rarity of such a coin. It wasn't just about age, it was about condition, preservation, and being one of the very few known examples in such high state. After several rounds of bidding, the hammer finally fell on the coin. The final sale price was $81,000. This sale represents one of the most impressive values ever realized for a modern clad quarter from the 1980s. It serves as a reminder that even among coins produced in large numbers, extreme quality and uniqueness can elevate a single example to a new level of significance. Most 1986 P quarters are still worth their face value. Some in high mint state might bring in a few dollars. But under the right conditions, a nearly perfect surface, preserved luster, subtle die traits, and formal grading, value can rise exponentially. Next up, we turn our attention to a coin that many Americans have likely held at some point in their lives, the 1979 Washington Quarter, minted in Denver. It's one of those coins that blends so seamlessly into everyday life that it often goes unnoticed. But beneath its everyday appearance lies a fascinating story that shows how even the most ordinary coins can carry surprising value under the right conditions. The 1979 D quarter features the familiar design introduced decades earlier. On the obverse, we see the profile of George Washington, facing left, a design originally sculpted by John Flanagan in 1932 to commemorate Washington's 200th birthday. It's a clean, straightforward portrayal that would remain unchanged for over 65 years. The inscriptions include, "Liberty, in God we trust," the year 1979, and of course, the D mint mark just next to the ribbon on Washington's hair, indicating it was struck at the Denver Mint. The reverse of the coin carries the traditional image of a bald eagle with wings outstretched, perched on a bundle of arrows and surrounded by olive branches. The text around the border reads, "United States of America," and "Quarter Dollar," with "E pluribus unum" above the eagle's head. It's a strong, symbolic design that speaks to both national defense and peace, an iconic representation used for decades. Now, in terms of materials, the 1979 D quarter follows the standard copper-nickel-clad format introduced in 1965. There's no silver in this coin, despite its silvery appearance. Instead, It's composed of a copper core sandwiched between two layers of copper-nickel alloy. The total weight is about 5.67 grams, and its diameter is 24.3 millimeters. That year, the Denver Mint produced a very large number of quarters, over 489 million of them. With such a high mintage, most of these coins ended up in pockets, purses, cash registers, and coin jars across the country. The vast majority saw years, if not decades, of circulation, which naturally led to surface wear, loss of luster, and all the usual signs of daily use. But while quantity often dilutes rarity, quality is where value begins to emerge. Among the hundreds of millions produced, a small number of coins were either pulled from circulation early or stored carefully from the beginning. These are the coins that avoided damage and wear, preserving the fine details that collectors seek. Over time, coin grading became more precise and more standardized. Coins began to be professionally evaluated based on factors like strike sharpness, surface condition, and eye appeal. Grading companies such as PCGS and NGC began assigning numeric values from 1 to 70, with higher numbers representing better preservation. For modern circulating coins like the 1979 D Quarter, anything graded MS67 or above is considered extremely high-end. These are not coins found in pocket change. They are typically found in original rolls, mint sets, or stored carefully by collectors shortly after minting. A standout example of the 1979 D Quarter surfaced not long ago. It was submitted for grading and received a nearly perfect score of MS68. That alone is enough to attract attention, but what made this coin even more compelling was the presence of a subtle but visible die crack on the reverse, just near the eagle's right wing. While it's not a dramatic error, it added uniqueness to the coin's already rare status. Collectors know that such features, however minor, can boost a coin's profile. That's because they help distinguish a coin from the masses and, when backed by professional grading, make it easier to authenticate and value. The market for modern, high-grade coins has grown significantly, especially for registry-set collectors who want only the finest examples of each year and mint. This particular 1979 D Quarter entered a well-known auction. Given its outstanding condition, the confirmed mint anomaly, and the fact that so few examples in similar grade exist, it drew strong interest from collectors. After a competitive bidding process, the coin eventually sold for $87,000. That figure may surprise those unfamiliar with coin collecting. But it underscores something important: value in numismatics isn't always about precious metals or age. Sometimes, it's about being one of the few coins that were preserved in nearly perfect shape, standing out among hundreds of millions of others. Now, it's important to put this in context. Not every 1979 D Quarter is going to fetch that kind of price. In fact, most are still worth exactly 25 cents, especially if they show signs of circulation. Even lightly used coins might bring in only a small premium unless they possess unusual features or have been professionally graded at a high level. But the lesson here is that condition and attention to detail can matter a great deal. If you come across a 1979 D Quarter that appears unusually sharp or clean, especially if it still has its original luster, it may be worth taking a closer look. Coins pulled directly from mint sets or stored since the late 70s in controlled conditions have the best chance of holding additional value. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed learning something new about this classic American coin, be sure to give this video a like, leave a comment to let us know what you found in your own collection, and subscribe to the channel for more stories just like this one. We'll continue exploring the coins you thought you knew, and the surprising stories behind them.